All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to just set space. As I do with everything, I do everything through source energy. And I believe any work that we do going forth is necessary for all people to be in that space. And so on Sundays, I do a lot. My name is Stacy Rush, first of all. And I do a sisterhood call that has grown. Basically, I was doing in-house meetings, and then our girls started moving around and then, traveling and doing a lot of grid work themselves and whatnot. And so anybody's invited. If you want to, I'll put a notebook out. If you want to get on my email list or whatever, I'll make sure you get the information. So everybody's welcome to join us at any time. It's every Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I think it's really important that we are doing this work. Consciously, I have been a grid worker since I was 14. Actually, when I asked, I've done a lot of work with the universal court system, the galactic court system, the cosmic court system. And when I was about 14 to 18, had contact with members that are from the 8 cosmos, 10 cosmos, 12 cosmos, 15 cosmos away. And to put that in perspective, if you saw Juan and Chad talking earlier, that one dynamic, how many stars and systems and stuff in that is, these cosmos beyond cosmos, and communications with these beings of benevolence are the ones that I choose to work with. But at the same time, because I have that authority and have worked with this before and use the Holy Spirit and that work and support in that all along, then you are untouchable and you hold power and authority. And so that's actually some of the stuff Mary asked me to talk about, our light bodies. So I will do it kind of theta style like I always do, with different attunements. And you're going to actually have a couple experiential things in terms of, we're going to open you up through the 22nd chakra so that you can have access and capacity. Some of you have been way ready for that for a long time. Some of you are already open through that, but it actually helps with your interstellar communication and multidimensionality, transdimensionality, and just interstellar awareness of what's going on the larger scheme, which is really cool. And so I'm going to offer it by just closing our eyes, setting space. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale from your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale from your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale from your mouth. Feel the energy of your heart go down through the bottoms of the feet into the heart of the earth. It's a pure energy of that earth heart. I call it the love. I call it like the love hurricane pool, but it's actually the earth motor heart. Pull that energy up through the bottoms of your feet, opening up all your chakras into a beautiful ball of light above your crown. Take time to notice what color that ball is. And that ball of light, we're going to go out past the universe through layers and layers of light to reach that bright golden light. You want to move through that into the thick jelly-like substance. This is where the laws of our earth construct exist in our universe. Keep going until you see or feel that pink mist, which is our law of compassion, wrap itself around you. And then it'll help push you up into that pearly, tingly, iridescent white light, which is the isness of creation. It's the oneness with the source highest truth. And it's snow white. And if you want to, as you clear your belief systems, you'll go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, into that pure, like oneness. And that's what we are working towards moving our embodiment into, is that. And so we're going to ask for activations of that for ourselves now, if you're okay with that. So we're going to just say thank you for our lives, thank you for all that we are, all that we're becoming, and we're going to ask for like 1,000 giant, imagine like football stadium-sized beach balls of that pure source light and energy, like moving through not only your physical body, but then also we're going to offer that into your auric field. And so if you accept that, you just say yes. And at that point, I'm going to expand my energy out to be like co-witness with you, but I'm going to ask you to be your own witness through anything that I offer as a download. If you choose to accept it, you say yes. And then I'll just co-witness along with you in case there's any glitches. Then I can, because I just see you all as a big screen up on my window and I won't know. Sometimes certain things will happen and then I'll offer something else, but we won't worry about that right now. Okay. But any downloads that I give you, I want to put this up front, is going to be given to you from Creator Source, highest truth, perspective, definition, understanding, feeling, knowing, and beingness, so that your truth of that on every and all aspect, every and all levels, matches source truth. That source truth can override and dissolve instantaneously anything that is adverse opposition or resistance to that source truth within you on all levels and aspects of the DNA and the structuring, the cellular programming, and anything that whether it's in you or in your auric field, including like the galactic implants or any of those kinds of things, those can all just immediately be popped out. And so easily, effortlessly, gently, and that you know what it feels like, looks like, expressed as, how to walk and live with the truth of, that it's possible, that you can, that you're worthy and deserving of, safe and secure with. You can allow, accept, receive, and welcome 100% of your birthright to whatever is being offered as a download to you here and now and henceforth. If you agree to that, you just say yes, so I don't have to keep repeating that. And we're just going to let that be for any downloads offered. So originally when I sent a title to Mary, I don't even remember what I sent, but it was something about the emerald flame and truth and that dynamic, which is really coming into the light body and living and walking and breathing in that truth each moment of our existence, which requires us to be virtuous in all thoughts, words, deeds, and actions. And in order to do that, there's some certain things through the practices that we have in our books that we use here with the Temple of Sakkara and also the Sisterhood Handbook. So not only will I go through some of the things that they asked me to kind of cover specifically and offer as downloads, we're also going to do the practicing of the wheels from the Sisterhood Handbook to make sure everybody knows how to do that and has the actual download of it so I can actually see it working in you in front of me. That way any adjustments that are needed when you go home and are playing with this, not playing with it, but using it and playing with it, yeah, because it is fun, you'll be able to do without a problem. Cool? Yay, awesome. All right, so today we're going to cover essentials regarding activation of our light bodies, freeing ourselves from matter, and reactivating innate wisdoms within each of us in our coding through the only true power anyone has, which is the power of the flame of the heart within. And so let's make sure your understanding of that, what's being offered, and source truth matches 100%. If you're okay with that, you just say yes. In that heart flame, where the wisdom of the ultimate truth is the fire of all life as we claim here and now, our birthrights on every and all aspect, every and all level, living highest, like seventh plane truth of being light born. That is the infinite and eternal truth. And you above are masters at all of this and have these innate abilities within you. It's time, it's like she was saying on that last thing, it's no more waiting, it's now. And it's been now for the last probably 8 years, right? And so now, it's now. And so if you accept that, I would just say yes. And if at any time, we're going to also ask for a download and source truth for a download of balance or integration, because as we go through these things, if you personally want to you could just ask for balance and integration if I don't get to you before I pay attention to the screen up here, or in my head thing. So everybody practice that just for yourself, say balance and integrate. And you should feel a shift in your own energy. So graduation occurs by activation of our higher chakras through acceleration. And acceleration requires speeding up of the chakras through the capacity of control of the tachyons within our own auric field. And so let's make sure everyone's understanding of what tachyons actually are matches source truth, if you're okay with that. Yes. And that you also have the wisdom and the innate ability of controlling those tachyon energies. We're going to get downloads from Creator 7 Plane of the principles of tachyon energy, as well as vibrational healing, and that tachyons operate on love. Yes. We're also going to make sure our truths on every and all aspect, every and all level, match Creator's 7 plane truth of the alchemical laws of mentalism from our Alchemist Handbook. The mentalism, laws of correspondence, laws of vibration, laws of polarity, laws of rhythm, laws of cause and effect, laws of gender. And that within laws of gender, within all creation, there is a sacred masculine, sacred feminine, and to have it optimal, you want the Hiroskamo state. And so we'll make sure your truth and source truth match that, and that the physical body and energetic bodies adhere to that here, now, and henceforth. Yes. Nice. So we also want to make sure that Creator's highest truth matches ours regarding the cities of light, here, now, and henceforth, if you're okay with that. Yes. Many of you have been here over the last 12 or 15 years, and it was different dynamics of layering and deprogrammings that were needed in order for people to move up to their next level based on the conditional programming and some of the things that the other forces have done or put out. And by free will, most people are unaware of just how involved they actually are and may still be on some level. And so that's where the inner work starts coming, why things surface up, and then how to transfer them or allow for the transformation of them. And so let's make sure that you know it's your birthright to have access into the cities of light, into the higher chakras. I would say yes to that. Here, now, and henceforth. And so as citizens on this planet, we all agree, or this is something I'm offering. I'm not saying that we do. I'm not in violation. I always do everything free from without being in violation of anyone's free will or any form of creation's free will. And that's extremely important. And the more you adhere to that and honor that, the more work you'll be given. Just putting that out there. But at the same time, the more your own abilities and capacities will open and expand beyond measure. Okay, I had a lot of this open since I was a child. I also was raised Catholic and had to do a lot of transformation and was doing things. And then 2006, when I went in, I was like, oh, none of this applies, because I thought I was already in oneness with God and spirit and all that. And then when you actually get into the programming, and I was really exploring through the theta healing, the dynamics of just how many blockages are there, not because of me, but because of what my families have. So it's in your DNA. And so it's like we have genetic level, history level, which could also be simultaneous, collective consciousness, these different dynamics that if you have coding that clicks into those, then that could be a situation that, but now the energies have sped up, and so it's a lot easier to do energy transformation, but it's definitely necessary, and the Holy Grail Vortex is one of the best ways to help ourselves do that, but also just connecting into true source and to allow that to really integrate in you and just ask, and it is given. I've been working with this since 2006, and I've watched instantaneous healings of stage 5 cancers. Anything you could possibly imagine, genetic birth defects completely changed in a matter of 5 seconds. Like huge things. And if anything's possible, you have to first have the belief and the knowing that all is possible through source and that truth of love and light's intelligence. And second of all, that if you ask, it is given. We just allow ourselves to be conduits or prophetic channel, pure conduits for that energy to come in through and then bear witness upon, because it's through the observation that the actual experience is created by the thought and by the word. And last year I hopefully you guys got to see that, but just every thought that we think is a moment of creation. And so there are some within the laws, there are some dynamics, but as you get older, especially as you start evolving on the path to spiritually, to move into this spiritual ascension dynamic, you are held more accountable for what you've moved up to, and then will be quickly shown, usually by the universe in multiple ways, and sometimes quickly, until you start recognizing your patterns, see why you created that, because we create everything in our experience, what was learned, what was to be learned for it, or really it's what virtue were you to gain. Because in order to live our highest truth ascended selves, we must be virtuous, as I stated, in all thoughts, words, deeds, and actions. And that's really how you get access to the true alignments with all that. And so that's something for you to think about or meditate on or get yourself more focused with. And so basically, as citizens of this planet, our goal, and which I'm offering, is to agree to choose ascension versus destruction, right? And other times we've had that, and so let's make sure, let's take that as a download from Source, 7th Plane Highest Truth, that we, or if you choose to accept that, that you are standing as a pillar of light, as a bearer of light, a beacon of light, for the holding the space that we choose ascension, and that you can accept the I choose ascension for all levels and aspects. Because not only are we offering this to you, every and all aspect, every and all level, this also is for those that are disembodied. Your ancestral people that have lived, that have gone across the veils, cannot do this but through a vehicle or person that does the work in the physical body. So not only are we offering it to the higher self, so those that you are currently connected to that may be alive on the planet, but also to those that are in deceased state. Like dropped body. Or dead, right? I didn't say disease, but deceased. But actually to the diseased as well. And so, we're going to let the brightness of this, this is actually, we're going to take a download of this because this is a paragraph from our Alchemist Handbook. Or it's being offered to you from Source Truth, so yours matches, every all aspect, every all level. Let the brightness of this beautiful vision touch every mind and bring enduring love and peace to each heart. May humanity and humankind greet each day and make it more beautiful through the knowledge and wisdom of ascension. Let the path of the higher self grace each soul that would receive the opening of their 8th through 14th, here at least through 14th, but we're shooting for 22 today for those that are ready and beyond. And we're offering this to the higher selves of those all on the planet, and or further, free from and without harm, here, now, or henceforth. And let there be peace on earth so that mankind can ascend and bring love and well-being into the solar system, into our universe, and into harmony with all. Yes. We're also going to open up and offer all downloads, sound codes, light codes, initiations, activations that would be necessary for you to integrate any of these offered, and what we're going to move into here in a minute. The point of working with Creator Source Truth, of choosing the light path of ascension, is so that we can control the 144,000 acupressure points of the planet Earth, which actually is what allows the Earth to make the shifts and changes free from without any major challenges, or so that it can be avoided with like minimal damage. Does that make sense? And if you want more truth on that, you can have Source download that to you so that you can get that in meditation, or you can access that information at any time. And so we're going to actually call forth the masters to step forth. We're going to ask not only your guardians, but also I work very much with Melchizedek, and so they're going to be here, as well as the we always call forth Mary Jacob, Mary Salome, Mary Magdalene. We're going to call forth all the representations from the Sophia Code that we work with, the whales and the dolphins and the divas and the fairies, and whoever else you want to call in to work with yourself to allow for the changes in this. And so they're going to step forward, making whatever adjustments are needed for each of us. For the 144,000 nadis are being activated and reactivated, recalibrated on our bodies now, if you're okay with that. Yes. And while that's happening, we're going to allow for the emotions and energies that go along with those, as well as all of our chakras, to be welcomed in here and now, if you're okay with that. So we're going to allow for the optimal activation, recalibration, so that they can be set at the desired rate and osculation or rotation that is necessary so that your full lotuses can open and then hang appropriately for each person. And you can say yes to all of these, but we're going to ask that they be done in the highest and best for your time frame, because Source knows what's best for you. And so you can say yes to these and just trust that they'll integrate in the appropriate timing for you as you go forth. And so we're going to ask for the root. You just say yes to that. And that you should see like the brilliant red. And we're not going to worry too much about the colors or the colors that I offer here, but because we open the sound code, we open the codes for the colors to come through. So some people might need a different shade that kind of will blend in order to get it in balance. So don't really worry about that if you're seeing another color come in other than what I'm saying out loud. Just say yes to that too. Sacral, which is orange. And that between each of these chakras as we go, we're going to ask for the rainbow bridges or the bridges to optimally be aligned and connected before it moves up to the next one, if you're okay with that. Yes. And while that's also happening, we're going to have the toning that goes with each of those chakra systems that are required from each of us to also be reset, if you're okay with that. We're going to do solar plexus, which is yellow. We're going to do heart, which is like pink and green. And when you move up to a certain level, then you get like a white diamond kind of like in the middle of it. Throat, which is blue. Third eye, which is indigo. And so they're also offering the release or the transformation of any of the self-created fear-based webbings or layerings that are over the third eye, if you want those removed. Or if you feel like you have it, just say yes, and they'll do that for you. Actually, you and they will do that for you. Crown, which is your violet white. Now we're going to move up to the 8th, which is your higher heart. And that's a turquoise. There's also magenta, but that magenta usually, we'll get to that later. Next, we're going to open up your atomic doorway, which is your 9th chakra. And it's like a green. And now we're going to do the solar star, which is your 10th. It's like a dark bluish or midnight bluish, violetish, mix-ish. Next, we're going to open the stellar gateway, or your galactic, which is your 11th chakra. It's like a pinkish violet. Now the Earth Star. There's a lot of chakras below the feet, but actually we're just going to work with the Earth Star right now. And our Earth Star is a bright gold. Now these next two, some philosophies call it like the Alpha and the Omega, which are your 13th and 14th, but the 13th is the Earth Core, or Universal Mother. It's like a bluish violet. And 14th is our Universal Sun, S-U-N. That one's a bluish violet. Maybe the other one's more pinkish violet. And then we're going to go 15th chakra, which is Universal Father. It's a soft, like goldish white. I'm going to open the 16th chakra, which is a spiritual ascension chakra, and this is soft violet but white. Your 17th chakra, which is universal light, it's white. Your 18th chakra is divine intention. It's a golden rose color. And to keep this one in harmony, you want to work with pure intent from your heart. Your 19th chakra, which is magenta. This is where I was getting into the magenta. Is it's the great cosmic heartbeat. And once we get these other ones open, then I'll go back and talk to you about that because we're going to adjust the kundalinis. Co-creator with the divine is your 20th chakra, and this is the golden violet. '21st is your divine cellular structure, which is golden blue. And then the 22nd chakra, I didn't really know what it was called, but then when I I looked up some sort of reference, and they called it the third level celestial chakra, and that's the platinum. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to have Source download you to teach you how to breathe through all those chakras and all those colors in all directions in like a circular radiation from the body, but also throughout to the very edges of your auric field. So first, we're just going to have the breath go just to the extent of the body, like breathe, like as you're breathing, it's going to be like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, and then they're saying that we're going to expand it so that it goes into your auric field, to the edges of your auric field. So if you're okay with that, I would just say yes, and they're going to show you, or you're going to show you. While this is going on, while you're breathing, we're also going to allow for, because some of it might be a little uncomfortable for some of you, they're saying, so we're going to have them adjust your blend the energies and the breathing so that they harmoniously move through like your etheric body, the emotional body, mental body, astral body, your etheric templates, celestial templates, causal body, and there's others, but I would just say yes to that. And so when we breathe, here now and henceforth, you want to breathe in the pure energy, that pure, it's like snow, white, and goldish light of the source, and exhale that source energy. And it instantaneously transforms or changes, comes in and exhales, and it can blend in those other colors too. So you want to just a few of those through not only your chakras, but through your skin. I would say yes if you want that download. And so take a few breaths like that. We're also going to ask for every and all aspect, every and all level of balance of our mind, the intellect, levels of consciousness, and egos. Yes. I ask for the downloads for alignments of life in our spiritual freedom, chaos-free living, and self-awareness. Yes? Also downloads in the alignments of I am immaculate life. And so with that, I would say yes to that, but let's welcome like the physical and biophysical, I wrote this down. The physical and the biophysical unified in marriage, if you're okay with that. Yes. And we want to welcome in the alchemical union of the body and soul prep here now. So I would say yes to that. And so we want to welcome the Spirit unified in the oneness of the highest truth, Holy Spirit. So you want to say yes to that. And now welcoming that Holy Spirit truth unified into our soul. then we're going to welcome that soul unified into our body, here and now and henceforth, that you know what it feels like, looks like, expresses as, that you're safe with it, and that you know how to live in the knowing and beingness of this and can realign into it at any time. I would say yes to that. And so going back to the, why I was talking about the magentas is because we have 3 kundalinis, and so we're going to have activation. The first is in your root, so we're going to ask for Kundalini 1 to open and be reactivated or adjusted or recalibrated as you may need. Kundalini 2, which is in your heart. Kundalini 3, which is in the morphogenetic field of the pineal gland. And so with this, what we're going to do, I'm going to teach you how to breathe this, because we're going to breathe this in a cycle. So it comes up the spine and activates, and then it goes back down. And that's where you get a magenta. It's kind of like a magenta with sometimes like goldish or purplish hues maybe be in it too. But what you do is you hold in order to get it activated, it really works best, like in one of our DNA 3 classes that we teach in Theta, it's actually 100 days. If you breathe in that way for 100 days, it'll naturally be spontaneously work for you. But in order to do that, you take a breath in and you hold the breath so that it cycles 6 times around within that cycle. And so we're going to practice that now before we move into the spinning of the wheels. So here we go. Take a deep breath in. And let the breath out on the 6th. Once you've counted it, hit all 3. Once it's hit it, let the breath out. And if that's too difficult to hold it that long, then you could start with 3, work to 6. But what you want to be able to do is get yourself to at least 12 or 24 circulations, or like the, what would you call that? Oblongular? Oscillations, thank you. So take another deep breath in and try. This time, if you want, you could try, do a few of them where you're doing like the 6. And once you get at least 3 times, I'd move right to the 12, like trying to get it to go around 12 times. Not trying, because trying, you're just going to do 12 times rotations and then let the breath out. In my breath, I just did 24. You get used to doing them quickly. And that really helps you, walk in that truth. And so now, and that anytime I would say practice that as often as you want. And that we're going to just ask for Creator's unconditional love and light and truth to move through all those chakras, or whatever you were able to open fully with today. And if you feel like you need to stand up, some of you need to stand up so that the back chakra, some of the back chakras are not quite as comfortable. If you stand up, they'll help you move those up now. So if you want to do that, you could stand. Get that adjustment. And some of you also need your wings upgraded or expanded. We're going to do that. Okay, and so now, just straight from the Sisterhood Handbook, I'm going to read this because some of you might never have seen this. I brought it to just read it to you. These are the simple exercises for meditation and practice for light body health and workingness. And so the wheels is an exercise to help you release your consciousness from the physical body first. We quiet yourself, imagine your ears as wheels. And so we're going to have Source Truth help you. You can stand or sit to do this. It's up to you. Imagine your ears as wheels. One ear or wheel will spin in a clockwise rotation, and the other will spin in a counterclockwise rotation. You want to move the wheels out away from the body and then back into the body. And so if you want to, like exactly how to do that, or if you're not feeling it, we're going to ask for Source Truth and yours to match, and then usually that'll adjust people's feeling of it. And then you can imagine yourself in any time or space. Picture yourself moving from one frequency to another. And the other key note there is you don't have to have the visual perception. The visual will come the more you practice this, but the visual, you don't have to have the visual in order to have the actual out-of-body experience. And by being able to master the movement of you could just go. The other experience or the take on that, how many of you found that, how many of you were able to do it, or how many of you found it challenging? Challenging? Okay, so we're going to do, I was getting that I should also do this other one. Some of you may find it easier to do this because of your remembrance. We're going to pull forward the remembrance of being able to shapeshift. And so from Source Truth and yours, if you're okay with that, to match 100% for every and all aspect, every and all level. And this one she has in there where you imagine a gull, a seagull, or I don't know, I usually use like a hawk or a phoenix or a dove, whatever you want. And after you spin the wheel, imagine that just sitting on your head, where you're focusing on it. And then after spinning the wheels, so we're going to just imagine one going in a forward direction and the other going one going in a clockwise, the other in a counterclockwise. From out of your ears. Yeah, just you're working with your ears, but you're still focusing on this bird. And now, as the ears are going, you want to place your third eye in the center of the gull's, or the bird, whatever bird you chose, is brain. And next you're going to make a command, and so that you know that I usually recommend people when they're first starting out to at least say, Creator's highest truth, I command the bird to fly up into the higher dimensions or to any time and space that you want to see. So you could do that now. And when you'll have crystal clear vision and like 360 degrees. The more you practice that one, sometimes that's easier for people than the other. And it's almost like when you have the ears spinning, another thing that might help, because this is just what's coming into my mind now, you know in Peter Pan, the movie, the kids' movie, the Peter Pan, when they kind of like flew out like that, that's kind of what a sensation that you want to get comfortable with to be able to travel out. So we could get source truth and how to be or feel safe so that you can easily do this with spinning of the wheels, if you're okay with that. And then you, it's your birthright to just say, like, you know, critter, what am I not getting? Adjust this, more clarity. And I was very like demanding, like when I was younger, and I would get it, but at the same, then you'd learn to be more kind. But it was like, what is this? Let's get this work. I get so frustrated with myself at certain things, and I'd be like, you said this to me, say, wow, like having this rant, and then it was just very, always so loving and calm, just like, do. Stacy, just breathe. Just breathe. If I had a dime for every time I heard this too shall pass, I'd be very, although I am very well. And so let's give you also source truth of it being your birthright to travel in all space-time continuums, dimensions, degrees, eternity, infinity, beyond, between times, on or off planet, in or around, and beyond the cosmos and the universes and through the various court systems. And if not, they'll stop you. And they'll be like, they'll say something to you. And sometimes people might need to learn like a little bit with a little bit of a violation so that you know when that feeling's coming on that, okay, I don't belong there, and then you just move yourself. Or it's not any of my business, like when you start doing some of that traveling. Any questions on the wheels or on anything, on your chakras? Use the handbook. You could print a copy of it or email Mary. She can email you a copy of it. If you want to put your name on a list so that I could send you at least the minutes, you can kind of see what we do on the Sunday night calls. You could put it on there, and all are welcome. That's all I have for you today.